specific cultural values or lessons from your upbringing that you feel have been crucial to your success?
The only thing I would say is sometimes I know, like, as a Hispanic, we get doubted a lot, as in our, like, educational wise, and they'll pick someone over us just because of our background. So I could say sometimes that would be one of my crucial things that I run into.
I could definitely agree with that. I see a little bit of that in my own field of work. I go to a lot of different coffee shops, and it is very rare that I see someone of Hispanic background behind the counter, let alone running the place. So I completely get that.
What are some misconceptions about Latina business owners you would like to dispel?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about just Latinas in general is, we lead with our emotions, and, we're kind of loud. And I don't think that's the case. I think we bring so much more than that to the table. I think our emotion kind of helps drive a lot of our good ideas, and just that motivation just to get us through what we have to do for the day. So I think, if anything, that's an advantage that we have more than anything.
I feel also they can always, like, assume that we're, like, dramatic.
Right.
But it definitely can't help us in a way.
We're passionate. That's it. That's a perfect word for it. Alrighty. So, what role has mentorship played in your journey, and how do you pay it forward?
So going back to my family background, I have my whole dad's side of my family lives in Santo Domingo to this day, and one of my aunts, she actually was a photographer. So when I was little and I visited them, she would always, use me as, like, one of her models and stuff. So it kind of inspired me to get into photography.
Oh, that's so cool. So you kind of had somebody to, like, follow in the footsteps.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think for me, mentor-wise, he actually wasn't Hispanic. He was a coffee shop owner. I actually used to work at this coffee shop. However, the man who delivered our coffee was Hispanic, and I feel like he was really who brought, like, that je ne sais quoi to the coffee shop, just like that vibrant personality that people kind of look for. So not necessarily that I followed anything that he had as far as, like, structuring a business, but I did notice that kind of spirit that he brought to that coffee shop was something that people really enjoyed. So that's kind of something that I want to incorporate here. So a lot of times you'll find me just really engaging with my customers, and I don't know, he resonated with me a lot.
Like a spark that was
exactly. And it was like the only thing that was missing. Our best days was when he would show up and deliver coffee. That kind of was just like it.
What are your hopes for the future of Latina entrepreneurship?
So I just hope to see more women from our background really just stepping into these roles that we see a lot of other people from, more common cultures stepping into, because we have the grit, we have the dedication. I mean, I know a lot of the women in my family, they were very dedicated to their house, dedicated to their husbands and their kids, and that's great, I think that's very important, but I think there's so much ground to be covered, like, in just the business world in general, and we are very smart, we didn't get as far as we have, without some of that intelligence. So I'm very hopeful for the future of our people, and just to see what things we could come up with. We're very creative, we bring a lot of personality to the table, and in a sense, I feel like we kind of make people feel a little more at ease, just with how warming we are. So I think there's a lot of ground to be covered for our women and for our men too. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, like for photography, because when you hear of, like, a photographer, it's usually a male. So I always, like, become very, like, excited when I see other women photographers, especially Latina photographers.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did meet another coffee shop owner, and she is Hispanic, and we really just hit it off, just like bouncing ideas, and like you could tell there was no ounce of rivalry or anything. We really just enjoyed, like, meeting somebody else who,
kind of pushes you to go harder.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm still, like, very much in contact with that woman. I go to her shop all the time. She's been in mine a few times. So it's nice just to see us like support each other. All right. What advice would you give to other Latino women looking to start a business?
I would say don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to any negativity. Stay focused on your gift or whatever your art is, your business, your hobby that's turned into a business, because that's kind of what happened to me. And
you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, you have to start somewhere. So, and you just can't. You have to block out all the negativity, because you can do it.
Yeah. I would say the one piece of advice I would give is it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I feel, especially for us, we are the underdogs already. Not only are we women in a men's world, but we're Hispanic women in a men's world. So I would say keep going. You got to take that first step. You never know what's going to happen. You're going to go through trials, but those are lessons that you're going to learn. And it sounds so cliche, but really a lot of the mistakes that I've made, we've only been open for 2 years, those are the most pivotal points of any business. You learn, you do trial and error, and eventually you're going to find your footing, and it's going to be easy, and you're going to look back one day and you're going to be like, wow, I'm so happy I did this. I think that all the time. Sometimes I want to pull my hair out when I'm here.
But it shapes you in a way.
Yeah.
Helps you keep going.
For instance, when I came in today and I just see all my customers and like everybody just enjoying themselves. That's what makes it worth it.
That's how I feel when I sign a client, like their album, and then their response, it just makes my day. It could be like the littlest sentence, like, oh, these are the best pictures ever. I just like...
And just to know you made a difference in their day.
And I know those are like memories that they can look on for the rest of their life. So.
I love that. And you make them look beautiful in the process. So what does Hispanic heritage mean to you as a business owner, and how do you elaborate it within your business?
I would say it means, so like we said, there isn't too many Latina business owners, so just that makes it. My background and my family kind of even though I wasn't born in the Dominican Republic, my father was, so his family is there, so it kind of helps me stay connected with them.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So for me, when I think of anything Hispanic, I think fun, energetic, and I do try to incorporate that into my business. So some of the things I do here, back in the month of July, there are a bunch of Puerto Rican parades that are happening all over Connecticut, and I always go to those. So I was like, you know what, let's have some fun with this. So for the month of July, I made all Puerto Rican inspired drinks. We did a coquito latte, we did a dulce de leche latte, I had some Puerto Rican coffee beans. I go to Puerto Rico like at least once a year, most of the time too. So whenever I go to Puerto Rico, I like to visit other coffee shops that are there. One of my favorite ones is called 787. They have a few locations in San Juan and even a couple up in here in New York. But I love going there, and I love to draw inspiration from them because they are a Puerto Rican coffee shop doing it, and they have so much success. So I bounce ideas back and forth with like some of the baristas when I go into that shop. And I really just try to incorporate some of the things that I see at these Puerto Rico shops in my shop. So for instance, we run a Spanish latte year round. That is by far our best selling latte. Like people always come back for the Spanish latte. I can see why. But
I thought about getting it.
Oh, you gotta get it. It's great. It's good. But yeah, so it's just like little things like that. We make empanadillas in the morning. We just have like ham and cheddar, but still just little pieces of my culture I want to spread. Yeah. So it brings me joy, especially when people enjoy the stuff. So.
What inspired you to start your own business?
It's something I've wanted to do pretty much since I was like 18. Like I said, I used to work in a coffee shop a long time ago, and it was just the funnest job ever. Literally, it didn't feel like work. In fact, my boss said the most cliche thing you'll ever hear. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. But it really is true. Like, when you're doing photography, like, that makes you happy, So, yeah, no, from the moment I was 18, I was like, I know I want to do this. So, you know, life happens, your plans get pushed on the back burner. It wasn't until the pandemic happened, you know, we were all sitting home. We had so much time on our hands.
Nothing but time.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing? So, like, I really just started the planning, and me and my sister, this is actually something my sister and I started together. She's since left us. She went back to her career, but for instance, her daughter still works for us. So it's a very happy atmosphere. So when we were starting the planning together, again, we were just like, we got to put one foot in front of the other, and the rest is going to start to fall into place. But yeah, no, my inspiration through all of it was just my love for coffee and just seeing what it did for people, bringing them together. So,
I love that.
if the people are happy, I'm happy. You know.
For me, I would say, so my brother is actually a DJ, and he randomly just brought home a camera one day when I was like, I would say I was probably 14, and he never picked up the camera after he bought it, so I kind of just borrowed it from him.
You're like, well, it's there.
And it just became a habit of me borrowing it and just like playing around, bringing it to family events and things like that. And it wasn't until high school I would go to like football games and basketball games and just take pictures of my friends. And all my peers kind of inspired me in a way because they were like, these are good pictures, like you shouldn't be taking pictures for free, like you should actually charge people. So then I like done a wedding after that at the beginning, and you know, just like private shoots and stuff. So that's kind of like what inspired it. I would say my peers.
And photography is not easy by any means. Trust me.
You have to have a lot of patience.
I know on a smaller scale, like I do our social media for here, and I would be editing for hours, and
Hear the same song play over and over.
yeah, you know, maybe I'll hire you one day. You can do it for me.
Do a collab.
Perfect. But yeah, no. So I love your story. I love kind of like where you draw your inspiration and really how you are.
Very family oriented.
Yeah, we all are. We're Hispanic. Everybody's family.